far, Pauline Hanson has resisted calls to explain what she knew about attempts to seek money from the NRA, tweeting instead today that
I was shocked and disgusted with the Al Jazeera hit piece. A Qatari government organisation should not be targeting Australian political parties. This has been referred to ASIO. After the full hit piece has been released, I'll make a full statement and take all appropriate action.
Part 2 of the Al Jazeera investigation will be broadcast on ABC TV tomorrow.
Nick Grimm with that report. Well, from One Nation's contacts with the NRA to warnings from spy bosses about Chinese lobbyists, the upcoming federal election will be closely scrutinised for any signs of improper foreign influence. So what preparations are being made to ensure a clean election, and what can the government do to protect democratic processes from the sorts of influence that's been seen in the United States, for example, at the last presidential election there? Political reporter Tom Eagleton has been looking into all of that for us. Here's his report.
The man in the hot seat when it comes to ensuring a fair and open election is the Elections Commissioner, Tom Rogers, and he's looking overseas for clues about what to expect for the upcoming federal poll.
We are very aware of the international situation. I talk on a relatively regular basis to some of our partner agencies, electoral commissions in the UK, Canada, New Zealand and the US, and we've learned some lessons from them as well, and we're happy to be using those lessons.
So what sort of things have they been telling you? Is this threat that we're talking about something that is still ongoing?
The main thing to take out of my discussions with those organisations is that we're living in a very changed situation than we were a few years ago, and it would be a foolish electoral commission that didn't take heed of some of those warnings.
A summary of US Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report into Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election in America found Moscow successfully mounted a campaign of disinformation and hacked into vital political networks. It was a wake-up call for election officials everywhere.
We're taking it very seriously, as is government more broadly, and indeed governments around Australia. We've got a range of measures in place.
The Electoral Commission's now armed with new laws barring foreign donations.
Need to do about it.
The ASD's been charged with investigating a successful hack of Liberal and Labor Party networks earlier this year, but Mike Burgess is giving little away.
When we do this work, when we're hacking overseas for intelligence purposes, we work extremely hard and use tradecraft that says we will not be detected. And if our activity was detected, you could not prove it was Australia. When you're coming up against a sophisticated nation state, they do the same thing. We still have an investigation underway.
In December, Foreign Minister Maurice Payne took the rare step of naming state-backed Chinese hackers as being responsible for a campaign of stealing corporate secrets.
We should not assume from that, though, that every time we determine who it is, that actually they would be called out publicly. It's always a matter for government, depending on the circumstance, actually how we take the next step and what we do about that once we know who it is.
And Mike Burgess says the best protection for democratic institutions could come from those they serve.
In our democracy, the ability for us, freedom of speech and what we say and how we debate things is actually positive. But even if someone is sending out bad messages and trying to push people, the way you counter that is actually have a good, robust society, conversation in society. That's a good thing.
The Director General of the Australian Signals Directorate, Mike Burgess, Tom Eagleton, our reporter. This is PM Linda Mottram with you. Ahead, more assurances from one of the big four banks as NAB interim boss Philip Cronican tells a parliamentary committee the bank is mending its mistakes.
We have let down our customers, we've let down the community, and we've let down our people on the front line. And for that, I'm sorry, and I apologise to everyone who's been impacted by our failures.
The Northern Territory is taking urgent measures to try to stem an outbreak of measles in the capital Darwin as outbreaks of the disease widen worldwide. Health authorities in the NT are lowering the age of vaccination for babies to just 9 months, a measure more typical in developing countries. Among a long list of countries struggling with the disease, the Philippines has seen a 266% increase in cases so far this year. 4 US counties have major outbreaks, with one declaring a state of emergency, while several European nations are also fighting the disease. In Darwin, here's our reporter Amelia Terzor.
What started as a few cases on the outskirts of Darwin last month has now grown into a measles outbreak. Sharon Murray from the Northern Territory's Centre for Disease Control.
At the moment we've had 23 cases reported, so there's been an array of places that people have been, so shopping centres, schools, universities.
It is the Territory's first outbreak of the highly contagious and infectious disease in 5 years. Babies are particularly at risk of dying if they get measles before they're usually vaccinated at 12 months. The NT Health Minister, Natasha Files.
And what we are doing today is announcing that children aged 9 months to 12 months can bring forward their measles vaccination. This will help protect those little ones, but also have the herd immunity to help tackle this outbreak.
This year is shaping up to be a shocker for measles cases in Australia, with 77 confirmed in just the first 3 months of this year so far, compared to 103 for the whole of 2018. Globally, last year was particularly bad, with more cases in 2018 than any other this decade, and outbreaks in cases including Austria and Japan. A county in the US state of New York has now even declared a state of emergency amid the worst outbreak of measles there since the disease was all but eradicated almost 20 years ago. Auckland County Executive Ed Day says drastic measures need to be taken.
I am today declaring a county-wide state of emergency. Anyone who is under 18 years of age and is unvaccinated against the measles will be barred from public places until the declaration expires in 30 days.
The Philippines has also been battling a deadly measles outbreak. Professor Lulu Bravo is a paediatrician at the University of the Philippines and the head of the Philippine Foundation for Vaccinations.
From January to February, more than 200 kids have died, with more than 4,000, 5,000 cases having measles. In 2005, we did not have a case of measles.
She says the cases spiked because parents stopped immunising their children after an anti-vax scare campaign in 2017.
And what we had seen is really spectacular because children were having measles right and left, even 1 month old kids, 2 months old, and we did have even adults dying with measles.
NT health authorities say there's no evidence that the Darwin measles outbreak is linked to an anti-vax movement or lower immunisation rates. But the outbreak does come as new Australian research finds just how susceptible the nation's parents are to anti-vax messages. The researchers at the University of New South Wales showed 400 parents' videos of One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson and US President Donald Trump making anti-vax comments.
Went to have the vaccine, got very, very sick, now is autistic.
I advise parents to go out and do their own research with regards to this.
Professor Raina McIntyre says that some of the parents who do currently vaccinate their children were swayed by their comments.
What we found is it's actually those people in the middle of the spectrum who vaccinate their kids, who don't come under our radar. They're the ones who are influenced by messages from politicians. They were twice as likely to become vaccine hesitant after hearing those messages compared to the people who had fixed vaccination views.
At the same time, social media giant Facebook is cracking down on anti-vaccination messages, banning some prominent campaigners. But Professor Raina McIntyre warns of unintended consequences.
I think it would be ideal if there was a code of conduct, but I think if you ban things, it allows the perpetrators of these false messages to play the martyr, and that actually could have a backfire effect as well.
Back in the Philippines, Professor Bravo says the good news is that it looks like their outbreak is getting under control, with hundreds of thousands vaccinated this year.
When they heard the news that many people, many babies, many children are dying, they started to come into the health centers in droves, and they were even fighting among themselves, so whoever will get vaccination first.
Professor Lulu Brown from the University of the Philippines, Amelia Terzon, our reporter. The Australian Medical Association says the continuing pattern of measles outbreaks globally is alarming, backing the idea of a new public campaign to promote vaccination. The Doctors Lobby Group has also today updated advice to doctors on conscientious objection to certain treatments. Dr. Tony Bartoni is the AMA president. We spoke first about measles.
For a significant period of time, we've been finding or hearing about outbreaks at regular intervals, and this pattern is continuing quite alarmingly so, and it's a message that we continue to prosecute, and that is that everyone should ensure that their vaccination is up to scratch, ensure that they are doing what they can to promote a message that vaccination is safe and vaccination is appropriate to our children, to our community, and that vaccination does save lives. Many diseases, and measles is one of them, have over time become silent memories of past epidemics, and now we're seeing the evidence of what can occur when we take certain outcomes for granted.
Are there risks that the disease will spread here in Australia as dramatically as it has in countries like the Philippines and some parts of the United States?
Overall, Australia has achieved significant vaccination targets, but there are pockets in Australia where vaccination levels, vaccination coverage is worryingly lower than would be considered best practice.